Thank you. I'm in such a foul mood, I almost missed it. It's one of those fucking days my car broke down, and I almost choked on a vegan wrap. That's not a joke, I almost choked on it. It's still in there. I still feel the fucking, whatever the fuck that is, some sprout or something, I don't know what it is. And I only did this because my doctor told me I've gained weight and I need to lose, I think he said about a stone. And I'm looking at him, he's massive, this doctor. I don't mind people saying you need to lose weight, but if you're massive, if you look like a pie with a stethoscope, you can shut the fuck up, can't you? I'm such a foul mood, what am I gonna do? Do you mind, can you just get me a drink or something? Can you get me, no, I don't drink beer, I'm not a fucking peasant. Get me the better red, do you mind, the better, they've got two reds, one of them's swill, just get me the good one.
I'll have a good red.
If you're going to find this difficult, I'll find someone who can speak English. Is English your first language? Great. Okay, can you go do that? It's all right, great. I'm not racist, by the way. That's not racist. It is one of those fucking days, and I just thought, and I came here, and I was annoyed anyway because we've had, and one of the things I'm proudest of is setting up Comedy Unleashed with Andy Shaw. This is just. Thank you. If I said that at any other club, it would not get that response. You know, one of the things was we always wanted to, the comedy scene was becoming very innovative, a lot of groupthink, and we also wanted, there was this sense, wasn't there? There's this sense that unless you regulate jokes, they might spiral out of control, Because let's not forget that ISIS started life as an improvisational sketch group. And it has happened recently. We started saying we're going to make a point of platforming any comedian that has their show cancelled. And at the time people said it's not going to happen last week to Andrew Lawrence. Happened last week. And we are very proud. Andrew Lawrence is now booked to do this gig in October, right? So we're going to just... You know what he did as well? He slagged off Liverpool. And Liverpool turned on him, which to me strikes me as an endorsement. Are there any Liverpudlians in? Okay. What's your name, Liverpudlian? Chris. Okay. I'm not having a go at you or, just your people. You're very sensitive, aren't you, Chris? I've always found Liverpudlians so unnecessary, not you, Chris. You're one of the good ones. But, and I just think it's fucking ridiculous. Why doesn't he made a joke? He made a joke. We don't mean everything we say, we don't. I've been to Liverpool many times, and unlike the people who live there, I've done it voluntarily, you know what I mean? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's so nice. Oh. That's how much I gave you. Are you buying me a drink? Yes. So sweet. No one's flirted with me for ages, but this is... let alone in public. What are all these people? What's your name, sir? What's your name?
It's Oliver.
Oliver, nice to see you, Oliver. Thank you for the drink. We shall talk afterwards. Oh, I don't care. Honestly, I'm in such a fucking foul mood. I don't care. Are you homosexual?
Not currently.
Not currently. I sense an opening. This is not going to be a polished set. I just want to rant a bit. I'm in such a fucking bad mood. Because I've been writing these books. I wrote a book. A book came out last week that I wrote called The End of Woke. And so it just hit me. I've spent the last 10 years writing books about why free speech is probably quite a good thing. And that men and women are different, by the way. Oh, and it's probably quite good to judge people by the content of their character, not the colour of their skin. Why the fuck am I writing books about this shit? This last 10 years, it's like writing a book about how gravity's quite useful, isn't it? Because it stops things floating around, doesn't it? I'm so annoyed. I've wasted 10 years of my life. And I feel like that's what the woke movement has kind of done. Like, we reached, as a society, we could have gone in the same direction we were going, but we decided to go down the route of retardation instead. And what was the point of it? I think this was the woke era, was like our sliding doors moment, Have you seen that film? Do you know the film Sliding Doors? It's the one where Gwyneth Paltrow misses her train, and then as a result, she ends up with like this entirely different haircut. Do you remember? So, but I mean, I think the woke have lost. They've lost comprehensively. You know, they have, and I think it is dying. But they're still going, aren't they? I mean, you've still got Lady Hale, former president of the Supreme Court. She said last week, I've been speaking to some doctors, and they told me that biological sex doesn't actually exist, actually. Who the fuck are these doctors? I would not go to those doctors. They might try and give me a smear test or something. Still going. Australia as well. Do you see, the Supreme Court in Australia, they came to a different ruling, didn't they, than the one here? They said that sex is changeable. That's what this is. It's not. Australians are so weird, though. What is it with Australia? It's always like, it's full of spiders, isn't it? It's always on fire, isn't it? Why is it always on fire? It's fucking weird, isn't it? And they do this thing now in Australia, even at comedy clubs, they do this thing where they do a land acknowledgement. Have you heard about this? All right, they do a land acknowledgement. And now this is even before comedy shows. They stand there and they say, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Aboriginal people. And you're thinking, well, okay, so are you going to give it back to them? You've stolen the land, you've just admitted you've stolen the land, you're going to give it back to them? No, we're just going to acknowledge it. Oh, that's good, just acknowledge it. All right. Just acknowledge it, and then what are you going to do? Oh, we're just going to tell some jokes on it. That's what you're going to... Isn't that worse? Is that worse than just stealing the land? Anyway, I suppose we should try and do it tonight, shouldn't we? Has anyone done the land acknowledgement? So, I'd like to acknowledge that the traditional custodians of the land of Bethnal Green, they're known as the English, actually. It's gone very reactionary, hasn't it? Because I was wandering around the high street, a lot of Palestinian flags down that high street. No Pride ones, I notice. Wonder what that's all about. I mean, it is Pride Month. Maybe no one told the imams about that. Maybe someone pointed it out. Have they got their gender-neutral toilets in the mosque yet? It's Pride Month, Imam. You should be on top of that minaret singing YMCA. Come on. Fucking do it. Get with it. Oh, God. I know this is fun. I can talk about this because I know people in Queers for Palestine, and they tell me it's great to be gay in the Middle East. It's celebrated. You can shout it from the rooftops. And you saw the guy burnt his copy of the Quran outside the Turkish consulate, right? And he's now been convicted of that. I made a joke about this. I predicted this. I have a character called Titania McGrath online, and I did... And I'm not kidding. I did this joke, like, after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, I tweeted as her, I said, the assassination attempt against Donald Trump proves irrefutably that he is guilty of inciting violence. Which I thought was quite funny. But then the judge, in this case, actually said, because he was burning his Quran and then some guy stabbed him and a Deliveroo driver ran over and kicked him, that proves that he was stirring up disorderly behaviour. That's the same logic as fucking Titania McGrath. So this is like, I can now rob a bank and say I was incited to do it by all the piles of money. Apparently that's what I can do now. Absolutely fucking crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to America, I'm moving. No, because it's very exciting. What? No, this place is over, I'm off. I bought a Stetson, I'm getting fatter. I'll do the whole thing. Oh, here's the other thing, right? Quite genuinely, in America, everyone is really polite, just hyper polite. Everyone's so nice, and I just find that fascinating. Like, for instance, if you know what I think it is? I think it's because they've all got guns. I think look, I'm not a fan of guns, but I kind of think, well, you know, if you try and block a road or throw orange paint over a historical monument in America, it's not going to work. For one thing, they don't have any historical monuments. But also, someone will blow your fucking head off, and I just think, it's a better system, isn't it? You know, if Greta Thunberg tried to turn up at some Malibu beach house in a little flotilla with the Onion Knight from Game of Thrones and some Dairy Lee Lunchables, they'd just machine gun the hell out of her, wouldn't they? She was a fucking great ruse, wasn't she, Greta Thunberg? But they're sort of genius in a way, the idea of, like, because she was touring the world as a child, lecturing world leaders, shouting at them, and because she was a child, they let her do it. That's really funny, and you know, now she's grown up, she's an adult, turns out she was a dwarf all along, she looks exactly the same. She looks exactly the same as she did when she was a child. She's a little dwarf in a raincoat, like the one out of Don't Look Now, scuttling about the place, ruining everyone's fun. You know, and the Conservatives, the right should have got on top of this. Like, that would have been perfect. Why didn't they just find some, like, Asian kid in a wheelchair, roll him around the world, get him to shout at people about the benefits of free market capitalism? Everyone would have been like, well, that's fine. Greta fucking Thunberg. She's the worst Swedish export since Ace of Base. I'm glad that to be going to America. I mean, look, I'm not necessarily a fan of Trump, but better than Kamala Harris, I think. I can't believe they put her up. What were they thinking? I mean, why were the Democrats? Why, that's her best candidate. That's it. Like, I get it. Drunk people are funny, but you just. You could have got so. Anyone would have been better. Like Michelle Obama. Like, he would have been great. Like, why not just do, This would have been more fun, wouldn't it? Okay, well, I'm going to go. It is Pride Month. I'm a bit sick of the gays, if I'm honest. And since they say I'm now right-wing, I may as well go full-on homophobic. I'm thinking about going back in the closet. How do you do that? Oliver, how do you do that? What do you do? Like, serious question. Like, because I'm really worried about how do you pretend. Like, because do you know what I worry about? Like, ex-partners of mine might sort of try and get revenge by setting fire to my car or something, you know? 4 people got that. By the way, for the avoidance of doubt, I know Keir Starmer's not in, is he? Okay.
He's not out.
He's definitely not out. No. You know what? It was a bad day. And then the person on the front row says something funnier than anything I've said tonight. Just for that, I'm not using a condom. You're gonna have to take your chances. Anyway, that's it. You know what? I've really enjoyed this. Thank you for cheering me up. That's what I was...